Okay guys, I'm going to be talking about how to measure your saddle correctly. I have been sick, so hopefully I won't cough too much. Just try to bear with me is what I'm trying to say here. Okay, I see a lot of people measure saddles incorrectly. It's not even funny, guys. It's actually quite sad. For as many horsemen as we've got who are pros, they should know how to measure their saddle right. But you really need to study saddle making, okay, to really know what the deal is here. Western saddles, the history was basically designed for work. It was not necessarily designed to, be a saddle that you work on your balance or everything else that we do now, okay? The saddle tree is designed to fit the horse first. So the saddle seat itself can be adjusted to the rider, which is kind of awesome. So you can get the best of both worlds. But since your horse is the one that you're relying on to work, you want to make sure that it fits them correctly first, okay? So one of the first things that people talk about is what size is the seat, because that is important, because that helps, distribute the rider's weight. You want to be able to fit in the saddle you're sitting in, otherwise it's going to squeeze you out, and what fun's that? Yeah, so, right. Just trying to figure out how I want to do some of this stuff, because I've taken so many takes of this already, and I'm screwing it up, and, alright. So, cut the saddle in half. I marked it with blue tape. See? Handy-duty blue tape. Right, now some people want to try and measure from the cantle back here to the front of the swells. That's incorrect. Some people want to try and measure from the handhold down here, back up here at an angle. That's incorrect. What you want to do is always start from the back of your swells, okay? This is your starting point. So start here. Measure straight across over your center tape line after you've cut your saddle in half, mentally speaking. And this saddle measures at a 15-inch. I'm going to turn this tape sideways so you can see. Now where that saddle comes up and meets my tape, that furthest point where it connects is going to be where my inches are at. So this is a 15-inch tree. Okay, so always measure from here to here. Now some of your cantles might be a little taller, so you might have a little bit of this going on, but not very much, okay? But you always have to measure from the center of your seat in the back, and also from the seat of your swells in the back here. So try and keep that tape as straight across as you can possibly make it, okay? Don't do it any other way, just right here to here. Alright, now we're going to talk about gullets. Some people have said that just because they have a 6.5-inch gullet, that their saddle is a 7¼ horse bar. That is incorrect. Bars and gullets are not the same. Gullet is space. So you're measuring space. That's your gullet, okay? Now the bar itself, I'm going to turn this way, if I can. I pulled the concho off the saddle, so hopefully you can see this. Right in there, right here, that is my bar. That is what's sitting on my horse, okay? That's what makes contact. Now if I want to measure my gullet is measured from the top of the bar, from where it makes contact, or the narrowest part that it makes contact with my horse, to the other narrowest part of contact to my horse here. These are the wonderful things about conchos, is because those are your marker points, okay? Now, if I tried to measure my gullet up here, I'm measuring leather, because obviously if you see down here, there's my bar. So I can't be measuring my gullet from bar to bar if I'm well above it, okay? Or well in front of it. Like down here, some people have tried to measure their saddles down here. That's all leather, guys. Come on, seriously. Let's look at that. So, what we do is measure from the center of the concho here to the center of the concho underneath here, and we press it up against that fleece. So there it is measuring at 7 inches. So I've got a 7-inch gullet right there, okay? Now, we got the issue of the bars. To explain bars, basically, you're only talking about the angle at what they sit at. So we all know that this is a 7-inch gullet, okay? Which is wonderful. 7-inch gullet will fit a lot of different horses, okay? But you have the bars. So now if I can do this, adjust my camera here. Keeping that that gullet angle the same, or the gullet width the same, now I've got to talk about bars. Now if this were a semi-quarter horse bar, and I wanted to get a full quarter horse bar, the angle changes from this to this, okay? Now obviously the gullet didn't change, but my angle at what I set my bars at did change. So that's going to fit obviously wider horses. That's going to fit narrower horses, or narrower and more narrow. But again, the gullet just tells me how much space I've got between my bars. The bar itself tells me what angle my bars sit at. So you can have a full quarter horse bar like this set at a semi quarter horse gullet. So you can bring, or a 6.5 inch gullet I should say, it's more correct. But again, the gullet and the bars are completely different. Two different measuring points entirely, guys. So please try and keep that in perspective. Now, if you have a saddle that is on the back of your horse and you see the saddle doing this, the reason being is because your gullet in the back of your saddle is not fitting the horse right. It's too narrow. Now, as a horse walks, we know, we've all seen it, how horses rump. Here, let me adjust this. We'll do this on either side as they walk from side to side. One side comes up. They have a whole system of tendons, muscles, spinals, everything moving that will lift this up. So you'll get it switching from this side, and as this side drops, this side will pick up. This side will pick up, and that side will pick up. You'll do damage to your horse's back if your back gullet is too narrow. So try and get something that's going to be wider in the back as well. Because as a horse walks, you'll get this, it'll fit right through that channel of the back gullet. So that's also very important to think about too. You have other things to worry about like saddle flares, twists, all those other issues that come into consideration here when you look at a saddle. But if you find something that looks like it might work, try and find something that fits the gullet and make sure the gullet is measured right. Try and find out what angle the bar is at if you can. Sometimes you cannot, so at that point, best of luck to you. Saddle seats, make sure those are measured correctly. Other than that, I guess it's mostly what I can tell you as of now. So I hope that makes sense on what the difference between a bar, a gullet, and the seat are for your main points of measuring, because it does make a big difference on whether it fits your horse right or not. So, alrighty then. That's it. It's a wrap.